Welcome to Tennessee's at-home learning series for literacy. Today's lesson is for all of our first graders out there, though all children are welcome to tune in and enjoy today's story. This lesson is the fourth in our series. My name is Miss Clark, and I'm a first grade teacher in Tennessee schools. And I'm so excited, boys and girls, to be your teacher today and to learn with you. Welcome to our virtual classroom. Now today, we're going to be reading another fable. The title of this fable we're going to be reading today is called The Dog in the Manger. Now as we read, we will be listening to determine the moral of the story, or the lesson that the characters learn. By the end of the story today, boys and girls, you guys are going to be able to write the moral all on your own. Now, before we get started, to participate fully in our lesson today, you will need a few things. You're going to need something to write with, a surface to write on, and 2 pieces of blank paper. Now, if you didn't see our previous lesson, you can find it on the Tennessee Department of Education's website, but you can still tune in today and enjoy today's story if you haven't heard the others. But it might be more fun to go back and to first listen to those, since we're going to be talking about a few of them that we've already read. Now, today, boys and girls, you're going to be hearing some very important vocabulary words. These words will help us to better understand what we're going to be reading about. Now let's check out a few of those vocabulary words now. The first one you're going to see that we're going to be looking for and listening for is the word budge. All right, on the count of 3, boys and girls, I'm going to give you a countdown, and I want all of you at home to say it with me big and loud. 3, 2, 1, budge. Wonderful. Now, this word's a verb, boys and girls, and budge means to move. For example, we might use it in a sentence like this. I pushed and pushed, but was not able to budge the refrigerator. Now, when you hear this word in the story today, I want you to be listening for it. And when you hear it, I want you to show me your best efforts at trying to get something to budge. Okay, that's going to be our signal for this word today. The next word we're going to hear is the word manger. All right, everybody say it with me. 1, 2, 3, manger. Wonderful job, boys and girls. Now, a manger, this type of word is a noun, and it is an open box where hay is put for animals to eat. So, a manger you might find on a farm or in a barn, and you probably have heard that word before, right, boys and girls? The manger is in a barn. It's something it's like a trough, something that an animal uses to eat. Another word that you are going to be listening for is oxen. All right, everybody whisper this word into your hand, and on the count of 3, you're going to shout it out with me. 1, 2, 3, oxen. Wonderful. Now, this word is a noun. And oxen are animals, and they're kind of similar to bulls, if you've ever seen a bull, and they're used for a special purpose. They're used for carrying or pulling things. So there's a type of animal that's really strong, and they're able to pull things or carry things. You might use the word oxen in a sentence like this. 2 oxen pulled the farmer's cart across town. And you might have heard the word ox, right? Maybe on your alphabet chart at school, you have a picture of an ox. So that's just one animal. Oxen is the plural form. So boys and girls, we have 2 new words that we're listening for. Manger and oxen. So when you hear that word manger, which is a box that an animal uses to eat out of, I want you to hold your manger. And you can pretend like you're even feeding your animals out of it, okay? And when you hear the word oxen in today's story, I want you to be listening for it. And I want you to show me you being nice and big and strong like an oxen pulling something for a farmer. That'll be fun. And the last word I want you to listen for, boys and girls, is the word plow. All right, everybody say it with me, big and loud. Plow. Wonderful. Now this word is a noun, and a plow, boys and girls, it's actually a tool. And it has one or more blades that turns the soil. So it's a tool that a farmer uses when they're growing crops. They're planting corn seeds. Very nice. Now, boys and girls, I just love reading fables to you. And remember, the fables that we've been hearing are short stories, right? And they're intended to do what? Can you remember? Great. Teach a lesson. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Now, as I read the fable today, I want you to listen for the lesson that the characters are learning. Just like yesterday, you're going to need your piece of paper and a pencil. So let's get started. Now, can you guys think back to the different fables that we've heard this week? The first one we read was The Boy Who Cried Wolf, right? Remember this one? Yeah. Who are the characters in this fable? That's right, the shepherd boy, the men, the sheep, and you can't forget about that wolf, right, boys and girls? Now, what lesson did our boy learn in this fable? They learned that you should never lie, or people might not believe you, right, when you're really telling the truth. Very good. Now, we also read The Maid and the Milk Pail, didn't we, boys and girls? This was a pretty cool story, and poor Peggy the milkmaid had a problem, didn't she? Yeah, she was one of our characters. Do you remember another one of our characters in this story? Wonderful job. The mom, she was a really important character, wasn't she? Because she helped us figure out or infer what the moral of that story was going to be, didn't she? Yeah. Now, boys and girls, the moral that we learned in this story was very important, wasn't it? We learned that things don't always go as you plan, and everything might not work out like you think. Now, finally, we read The Goose and the Golden Eggs. Do you guys remember the characters in this story? I want everybody to whisper into your hand and everybody shout it out with me all together. 1, 2, 3. The goose, great job. And of course the farmer. Very nice job. Now, I want everybody to go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back. You guys have worked so hard reviewing. Now, do you remember what lesson our poor farmer learned in this story, boys and girls? That's right. You shouldn't be greedy and take more than you need, right? Now, today's fable is still short, and it's still going to teach us a lesson. But in this fable today, there are no people, boys and girls. It's all animals. So I bet some of you are really going to love this story because I know you love animals. I do too. And the animals, boys and girls, do you know what? They talk. Yeah, how crazy is that? So many of Aesop's fables have animals that act like people, right? Like the goose and the golden egg. But this is a third characteristic of fables. Sometimes animals talk. And we call that personification. I want everybody to say that with me. Ready? Personification. And in my class, we like to stretch out that long word. Ready? Personification. Great job. So I cannot wait to get started because I love stories of talking animals and personification. They're always super fun. Now, let's take a look at this image, boys and girls. We can see a dog standing on something. It looks like hay. But this is, I'm noticing something under the hay. Are you? Ooh, what do you think we might call that? Are you thinking back to any of our words that I taught you about in the beginning of the story? That's right, boys and girls. Awesome. This is actually what a manger looks like. This is a manger. So a manger is that long, narrow, open container that holds food for animals, right? Now, it has slits on the legs, and it comes off the ground, making it easy for the animals to reach it when they're hungry. Now, what about the animal standing in front? What kind of animal do you think that might be? Yeah, boys and girls, it's an ox. That's right. I'm noticing that Miss Clark told me that oxen are kind of like a bull. So this kind of looks like a bull, but it looks pretty strong to me. It looks like he has some big back muscles and he has some nice, big, strong horns. Yeah, they are similar to cows, aren't they? So I bet you guys have a connection with that because I bet most of you got to see a cow before. Now, look at this ox and this dog. It kind of looks like they're talking to each other, boys and girls. I wonder what they could ever be talking about. Now remember, you are listening for what lesson is learned here in this fable. Let's get started. There once was a dog who liked to nap on hot days in the cool barn. He liked to sleep in the manger, the long wooden box where the hay was put for the farm animals to eat. Boys and girls, why do you think this dog loves to nap on the manger? Why do you think that's his favorite spot to take a nap? Go ahead and turn and share out with the people you're watching with today. Yeah, I agree. I bet that he likes napping in the barn because I heard from the story that it was cool inside the barn. So he probably wants to get out of the hot summer sun, doesn't he? One day, after a long afternoon pulling the plow, there's that word plow, right? That word plow is our tools our farmer used to turn the soil. But he returned to the barn, but they couldn't get to their food because the dog was lying in the manger, taking a nap on the hay. "Excuse me," said one of the tired oxen. "Would you please move so that I can eat my hay?" The dog, angry at being awakened from his nap, growled and barked at the ox. "Please," said the tired, hungry ox. "I've had a hard day, and I'm very hungry." But the dog, who did not even eat hay, had only enjoyed it for its comfort, barked and snapped in response, and refused to budge, there's our word, or move. Now, boys and girls, what in the world? What do you think is going to happen next here? You think this is what the dog should have done, or should he have made a different choice, you think? Think it's going to cause some problems? Maybe. At last, the poor oxen had to give up, and he went away tired and hungry. Wow, boys and girls. Oh, I agree. That dog was not being very kind, was he? We learned the word greedy from our previous fable. He was kind of being greedy, wasn't he? To the poor oxen who had worked all day in the fields. Now, what is the setting of this fable, boys and girls? Yeah, a barn. Now, have we heard another fable that we can make a connection with and where the setting was also a barn? That's exactly right, boys and girls. The goose and the golden egg was also in a barn, right? Now, if we look at this illustration, does it show us the beginning, the middle, or the end of the fable, boys and girls? How do you know? Wonderful. That's right. This picture shows the end, right? Because the dog, he's barking angrily at the oxen at the end of the story, and he's growling at them. So we can tell by the expressions of what part of the story this is and what's happening in this part of the story, can't we? Now, how do the oxen feel when they enter the barn? Yeah, they are so tired and hungry because they've been working all day, right, boys and girls? And we learned in the beginning of the story that it was summertime and it was hot and they'd been working in the fields, plowing all day long. Why do you think the oxen wanted the dog to move from the manger? Go ahead and turn and share with the person listening to you today. Wonderful. Yes, he's wanting to move, so he's wanting him to move so we can eat the hay, right? Because I don't know about you, but I can make a connection with that because at the end of a long day, I am ready for dinner, and I know you guys are too. After you've been working all day at school, you are ready to eat, right? Now, do you think their request was reasonable from the dog? Yeah, I agree. Of course the dog should move, shouldn't he? Because the poor hungry oxen wanted to eat their dinner, and he was sleeping on their dinner. Does the dog budge and get out of the manger? What does he do instead? You're right. He didn't move. He barked and snapped instead, didn't he? Now, did the dog need the hay as much as the oxen did? Or do you think the dog should have made a different choice, boys and girls? Yeah, I agree. The dog didn't really need the hay, did he? He could have went and laid anywhere and had a nap wherever in the barn, but he decided he would not move from the poor oxen's food. Now, do you think that the dog should have been angry and barked at the oxen? Or maybe could he have done something else, made a different choice? Go ahead and turn and share with the person you're watching with today. Very good job, boys and girls. Yeah, the dog could have solved all their problems. He could have went and had a nap maybe on the floor of the barn, and that way the oxen wouldn't have been tired and hungry anymore. He could have got his dinner, right? Now, let's write that into a complete sentence. So we are going to write what the dog should have done, okay, instead. So let's go ahead and get out our pencil and paper, and you can write along with me, boys and girls. So, do you guys remember what we need to start with? We're going to write a complete sentence. Everybody whisper into your hand, and on the count of 3, I want you to yell it out big and loud. 1, 2, 3. capital letter. Great job. We need a capital letter every time at the beginning of a sentence. So let's go ahead and write our sentence. The dog should have moved, right? Yeah, that would have saved him a lot of problems and really helped the poor oxen. So the dog should have moved, and we're going to keep adding more details to our sentence because we want to tell our reader why. So that, what do you think? Great, yeah. So that the oxen could have had the food, right? Good job, boys and girls. And I'm going to add some detailed words. I'm going to add some adjectives to make my sentence stronger. So that the tired and what else was he? Hungry. Great job. So that the tired and hungry oxen, great, could get their what? Yeah, their dinner, their food. Now, let's look at my sentence and see if you agree with me. And I want you to check your sentence, boys and girls, with my sentence. Now, we wrote this first sentence together so that we could all see exactly the things that we need to add to make a complete sentence. We have our capital letter, and a very important part of a complete sentence are those finger spaces, right? Super, super important because you want your reader to be able to read your writing and you want to be able to share it with others. You don't want to have one huge word of jumbles, right? The dog should have moved so that the tired and hungry oxen could get their dinner. So this is what our sentence looks like after we add those finger spaces, those capital letters. And boys and girls, you notice our sentences are getting longer and more complex, aren't they? So that is a wonderful thing to go ahead and challenge your brain with. Can you add in those describing words, those adjectives, and make your sentence more complex and more interesting? The tired and hungry oxen, right? That gives you more information and allows your brain to picture a more fun and engaging picture because you have details. And what do we always want to put at the end, boys and girls? You guys have been doing a great job with this step. Whisper into your hand and tell me 1, 2, 3. Punctuation. Absolutely, boys and girls. And I add a what type? A period, right? Because this would be a declarative sentence, wouldn't it? This wasn't an exciting part of the story. I wasn't getting scared or I wasn't being surprised. I'm just stating something that happened, right? A declarative sentence. I use my period for that. Wonderful job, boys and girls. Now, I think that you guys are ready to try a question on your own. Now, we know that fables can teach us a lesson, right? And in this fable, the dog is mean, isn't he, to the tired and hungry oxen? What should the dog have done differently? Yeah, he should have moved so he could enjoy the dinner. And what lesson do you think the dog needs to learn? He was very mean to the poor oxen, boys and girls. Do you think he needs to learn a lesson here? Yeah, good thinking. The dog needs to learn to be kind. That's right. Be kind to others, boys and girls. That is so important and a wonderful lesson that we should always have in our brain. We should always try to be kind to others. Always, always. Now, we had a great moral, and I want you to repeat it with me, and I want you to try to do this every day, because this is a wonderful lesson and a wonderful thing that we can pass on to others. You should be kind. Great job. To others. Great, boys and girls. So that one is wonderful. Now, I want you to go ahead and practice writing the moral of the story in your own complete sentence. And I know you guys will do a wonderful job with that because your sentences are amazing. And great job today identifying those vocabulary words as I was reading the story. And I want you to think, boys and girls, about some ways you can practice the moral in this story today. Practice this lesson. And I want you to think of how you can show kindness to others every day. And you might even be able to write those ways that you're showing kindness to others down and share them. I know your mom and dad would be super proud of you. Boys and girls, I so enjoyed reading The Dog in the Manger with you today. And thank you for inviting me into your home for this lesson. And I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson in Tennessee's At Home Learning Series. Have a wonderful day, boys and girls. And don't forget to think of some ways to show kindness.